Hey there, guys, and welcome back to the Two Players Podcast, episode 74. This is the last one of 2018 and the last episode for the entire series. I'll let you guys know exactly what that means at the end of the show. So we're going to dive into some quickie news. Then we're going to talk about the Sonic movie posters that have been released, or images or whatever. Then we're going to talk about games we've been playing recently, our recent activities, and then our favorite games of 2018. So first piece of news is there is a new Godzilla trailer, King of Monsters. I think that this one was a lot better than the first one.
I actually like the first one a lot.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, this one shows a lot more of the monsters and stuff like that. I'm personally pretty excited for it. I wasn't a big fan of the 2014 one, just because Godzilla only showed up for like 12 minutes. Like, it wasn't really a lot of screen time with him. So with this movie, it looks like there's going to be a lot more screen time with the monsters, which is like the part anyone really cares about. So I'm excited for that. I'm also excited that they're like monsters that are more well known, not like just generic like monster that was in the 2014 film. This one you got King Ghidorah, Rodan, and Mothra. Like those are pretty well known monsters for the Godzilla franchise. So I'm pretty excited. They all look really good too. So I'm pretty excited.
Looks like a fun CGI mess.
yeah, basically. I'm used to the rubber suit because that's just what I'm used to. Yeah. So, but I think they did a good job transitioning from that to CG. It's weird not seeing practical effects because that's what they've usually done. But I think they all look really good. So I am pretty excited for that.
Okay.
Also, this is surprising. Punisher will begin the second season. I thought this would also get canceled, but I guess not. Probably because they were like
too far in.
But yeah, probably too far in, and it would just have like, because usually Netflix always has like 2 seasons of like anything. Like, it doesn't matter if it's like bad or whatever. Usually they're gonna get a second season. So I think after this second season, then they're done, because they were probably like doing production on this by the time this first season ended. So I mean, that's my guess, because I don't see this going much longer either, because everything is getting annihilated. So.
Yeah, Marvel's trying to get everything back under their belt, so it's probably going to be the last of the Netflix Punisher after the second season, if I had to guess. But, I'm pretty excited. I really did like the first season. It was pretty good. But, yeah, exciting stuff.
Yeah, so, I mean, again, if it ends in a cliffhanger, don't expect it to get resolved, because it's probably, going to be done for it.
Yeah, if I had to guess, they're just going to end it like straight up. So
yeah.
All right, so Insomniac Games, they actually listened to the players, and they gave they released the Sam Raimi suit, pretty much. I believe it's called the web suit in game, and it's free. It's a free update. You don't need to buy the DLC or anything. So pretty much if you own the game, you can have the suit. It's not part of the DLC. So
yeah,
my problem with this is that when they released the suits for the last and third DLC piece, it was Into the Spider-Verse, the cyborg robot, and then like the full metal spider suit. Mm-hmm. There were a lot of people that got upset on Twitter vocally, like really, really vocally. It was like, you guys didn't give us a Sam Raimi suit, this and that. And Insomniac Games, whoever is running their Twitter gave like, a pretty like snappy like reply. It was like, we're listening. They pretty much were trying to say, like, we hear you, but there's, certain things that we can't do right now. So they pretty much just gave what those whiny, like, children on Twitter wanted. And, like, obviously, it's great that they actually listened and gave us what a lot of people wanted. Like, when it came to me, like, personally, whether we got the suit or not, I really did not care. Obviously, it's a great suit. It's very iconic to a lot of Spidey fans. But, I mean, it's like, whatever to me, Yeah,
I mean, I think people making a big issue out of this are just chill out for a second. Like, I don't know. I feel like getting that angry over something that wasn't even promised is, like, just dumb. Because they never said they were even going to do it. Like, it wasn't like, hey, the suit is coming, but then it never came. This one, they never said anything about that. People were just assuming it would come out. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it says something that they did it and it's free. Like, you don't need the DLC to get it. Like, that's nice of them. But it's also like, yeah, I agree with you. Again, I don't know if this was planned a rally before this came out.
So I'm looking at the Twitter replies
Like,
right now. Supposedly it was in the works for a while.
That's what I mean. Yeah, so it was probably a rally on the works. That's why they were like telling people to chill because it probably, you know, they didn't want to ruin the surprise, you know. But it was also like if it didn't come out, like, you know, I don't know what you were expecting. Like, like they never said it was coming out ever. You know, it was mostly just a surprise. So yeah,
it's like they don't owe you anything.
Yeah, not really.
Like
it's
that's
like,
my sort of thing. It's like people feel like that they're entitled to this suit, but it's like it's a skin. Calm the fuck down.
Exactly. Like I don't really get, like, again, I also watched these movies when I was younger, you know, they're a part of my childhood and I like it, but I think getting that angry over just a costume is just really dumb. So
yeah. Also, if you played the game, you know they're gonna make a sequel, right?
Yes. Yeah. So
there's no
it's not
point in like causing a fuss.
Yeah, it's not like it was never gonna come out, but I don't know. Whatever. People are very insane.
Yeah, people will always be crazy.
Exactly.
All right, Sonic movie.
All right, so this looks like trash. I think when that like motion whatever poster came out, everyone thought of like trash. Like Sonic is like, it looks like a real hedgehog, got some real legs, you know, look at his little stubby arms. It looks like he has like two eyes, you know, he doesn't have that like weird eye shape that you know, Sonic has.
The one eye sort of.
Yeah, the one eye thing. Like it just looks really gross. Like it looks horrible. I mean, what are your thoughts on this? Because I mean,
obviously,
garbage.
It looks pretty bad. I think this is the first time the Sonic community has been united on one thing, and like this is obviously like really terrible. But the last image that they recently, whether it was shown off or leaked or whatever, with like Sonic on top of the cop car, like he doesn't look terrible there.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't look. I mean, it looks better than whatever they're about to show. Like
that's what I'm saying. Like it looks better than whatever the hell we got, but still, you know, it's like why are you trying to mess with a design that's already iconic by making it, you know, a little bit less recognizable?
I just don't feel like just make him like regular Sonic in like the human world, I guess. I don't know. Let's just make him like how he always looks and just put him with other people, I guess. Like, did you have to make this monstrosity? Like, what is that?
Yeah.
Like, I don't see the point. Or just make it all animated. Like, I really don't understand.
Mm-hmm. The one with the legs, like that one, like caught me off guard. I was like, oh no.
This is real legs. He's got real legs.
It's like, how did they even like decide to make that pose out?
It just I don't know how you just mess up a design so simple as Sonic. Like it's a pretty simple design, and then to just decide to make it like awful. Like I just don't get it.
Yeah, and even like I know that a couple of like the Sonic producers, executives, whatever, were like reacting to this, and they're like, "Yeah, about that."
It's just like I mean, when this was first announced, I knew it was gonna be like pretty bad. Like, you know, it was live action and all this. They kept doing more details, but this design for Sonic is just the final nail in the coffin, dude. Like, if you can't even get Sonic's design right, then it's over, man. Like, it's over. Like, there's nothing going for this movie right now.
Right now, anyways, I cannot wait for that first trailer to drop and we just see Sonic.
I'm hoping it's like so bad it's good. Like, I feel like poor Sonic. Like, this dude can't get a break. Like, it's just like one bad thing after another. Like I'm sorry, Sonic. You deserve better.
Mm-hmm. Like definitely, I feel like Sega should have had a much more hands-on approach with this movie. But I guess they were just like, you know what, just go for it.
Yeah, and then it just went with this. It's like, well, wait, hold on a second.
Wait a minute.
This sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, there's that. But I mean, obviously, we're both not necessarily looking forward to it, but we're both probably still going to see it.
Yeah, I'm probably going to watch it, but I'm not going to like it. But
it's probably going to be like, you know, laughing because it's just like, why did they do that? What's this? So
it just looks so bad. I hope it's just so bad it's good because I really want it to be.
Yeah, but just let it come out already. But
yeah.
Anyways, we're going to get past that. We're going to dive into recent activities, games, movies, whatever. So I'll let you go first, Damian, because once again, I got a big list.
I don't really have a lot. I was mostly just playing like a lot of Smash. I beat a World of Light. I actually did like it a lot. I know people are pretty mixed on it. I thought it was a fun time. It is really long, as people were saying, it took me about 22 hours to do the true ending and get 100% because I did that.
Mm-hmm.
And overall, it can get a little repetitive and stuff, but I like it. I think all the spirit battles really represent their spirit pretty well. There was a lot of cool little mini maps within the large map and stuff like that. Like there are nods to other things. Like I know some reviews show like the Street Fighter level looks like in Street Fighter 2 World Tour when you're like going around different countries fighting the different fighters and stuff. That was really cool. And there was a lot of other cool little sub areas with different puzzles and stuff. It was basically just a bunch of fan service, so like a bunch of games, and I really enjoyed it, and it really, that novelty didn't really wear off for me. I know for some people it did pretty early on, but for me it kept me entertained the whole way to like see like, hey, I wonder what else they're gonna reference or whatever. So yeah, it was pretty fun. Like other people were saying too, don't expect story. There's like no story in this. This is not subspace. Sakurai said it himself, like, basically playing this for the gameplay, not the story. And he wasn't really kidding. There's like really nothing there. So yeah, if you're going into this expecting like a bunch of cutscenes, do not expect that. But overall, I liked it a lot. If I had to compare it to Subspace, I would say Subspace was more memorable just because of the cutscenes and stuff like that. But for gameplay wise, I think I preferred this just because it sticks to the strengths of Smash, which is like the fighting part. Yeah, because in Subspace it went into like beat 'em up platforming territory, and it kind of felt janky at times. And just the level design wasn't that inspiring in Subspace. So I kind of like that they went for more just like, hey, these are just a bunch of event battles themed to this spirit, and I think that just works out more. But yeah, if you're not really looking into like a huge 20-something hour adventure, then don't bother. But I feel it's worth a shot at least. There's a lot of cool moments in there. It's also like really hard, so there are some spirit battles that just made me want to just throw my Switch out of the window. But it was a lot of fun. I liked it a lot. The classic mode is also really fun. Each character has their like own themes of battles and stuff like that. So if you're playing as like Pokemon trainer, you find a bunch of other Pokemon. If you're playing, which one was it? Oh, yeah, if you're playing Richter, you fight all the other Echo fighters and stuff like that. I just thought they all have really cool themes and stuff. And some of them end with like a special boss from World of Light, so that was also really cool. Like overall, I think the single player offerings are like just 10 times better than they were in Smash 4. Because Smash 4 basically was non-existent with single player. Like I really didn't like the classic mode in Smash 4. And the event mode was fine, but like I think the single player offerings in this game were a lot more entertaining. And then you have online, quick play sucks. Like they made it a bit better. They did an update with 1.2 that tries to match you better with your preferred rules. And with that update, I really haven't gotten any more free falls. I've been getting 1v1s pretty consistently, but it will always like, it's never guaranteed to be what's the agreed times, like 3 stocks 7 minutes. They never really guaranteed that. Sometimes you could get like 3 minutes, like 3 stocks, which is just not enough time, or you could get like
so
5 minutes, 2 stocks.
Turns like items off.
Yeah, you could get items sometimes. Like, it's still a mess and it's not perfect, but at least it's 1v1s. Like I have no problem with free for alls. It's just free for alls online aren't that great because they aren't that fun because it's always a laggy mess. It's 4 people connecting to each other. It's never fun. Like people are just lagging out everywhere. It's just not fun. With 1v1s, it's been pretty good. I've been having pretty good connections and stuff. And I don't even have the LAN adapter, but it's been all pretty good. Like I haven't had too many issues with lag ever since that update hit. And besides that, I just really like it. I want to try like Squad Strike and other stuff. But you can't do that in the online battle arenas or whatever they're called, which makes no sense to me. I'm like, why can't you use these other cool modes that are only locally and you can't just use them in like your lobby system? Like it makes no sense.
Yeah, it sounds weird.
So I'm hoping that they add that eventually. But again, it's Nintendo and I don't really expect them to do anything with the online than they already have. So yeah, that's kind of unfortunate. But other than the online, I think this is one of my favorite Smash games. I think it just makes Smash 4 obsolete. Like, there's a lot of things in this game that this does better than Smash 4. Like, you can only air dodge once. Rolling is not as strong. The game just feels faster and better. Like, it's just huge improvements from Smash 4, and I really like it. I think it's a great game. So if you haven't gotten it yet, then I don't know what to tell you. Just buy it, Smash Brothers. It's really good. Besides that, that's all I've really been playing. I played a bit of Pokemon. I kind of gave everything I had to say about that already. But yeah, that's about it. I've mostly just been playing Smash like a lot. So.
Okay, well, I've been playing League of Legends and Fortnite. Wow, 2 free-to-play online games. League, same old. Yeah, I actually jumped back into Fortnite because Jeffrey wanted to play.
There it is.
And it's still the same game. I mean, when I get a kill, it feels good, but that whole downtime of just trying to find someone when you laying bumfuck nowhere because you're bad at the game, but still.
I think my issue is once you die, you have to go back to the lobby and everything. This should just be a quick rematch.
Yeah, just play.
Or not rematch, but just play again. You got automatically get queued up again. Because I feel that downtime between loading times is just kind of just
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah,
Should
since
be
you die.
Easier way to just queue back up.
Yeah.
But there isn't, unfortunately. Watched a couple movies over the past 2 weeks. Once Upon a Deadpool. So
okay.
I actually wanted to see this kind of badly, and then when I was in the theater watching it, I was like, oh no, this is terrible. So pretty much, if you've seen Deadpool 2, you've pretty much seen this movie already. There's only a couple of scenes where Fred Savage or whatever, but the entire movie's PG-13. My theory behind it, behind this movie being made, is that they wanted to see if a PG-13 Deadpool would work, and it can. But once you've already seen the R-rated version of it, it's kind of just you kind of just want to watch the R-rated version.
Exactly, yeah.
So, yeah. Hopefully they don't do this again with Deadpool, make him PG-13. Obviously, they made jokes around the whole PG-13 thing by, bleeping certain things out, but it only worked for so long, if I can say that.
Exactly, yeah. I just don't... I get it, because they want more money. That's the whole joke. But it's also I just don't think it works. Mostly when it's very R-rated, just to edit it down just makes it seem you've already seen the best parts of it. So I don't know.
Yeah. Other movies I watched. I saw Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. No spoilers, obviously.
Yeah, don't spoil it.
But that movie is great. It is beautiful. It's amazing. Tells a much different story from other Spider-Man movies. Not just because it focuses on Miles Morales, but there's a bunch of other Spider people in here, so there's that factor. And I saw it twice, so yeah, this movie's really goddamn good. Bumblebee, saw that just this morning. That movie was surprisingly really good.
Yeah, I keep hearing about that.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. As a person that isn't a Transformers guy, I guess, it was still a fun and enjoyable movie. I will definitely put it at that. And then The Office, finished that. I think I already talked about that last week or whatever. But anyways.
Yeah, I think you did, yeah.
But yeah, I think that's about it. Let's talk about our favorite games of 2018. This is in no particular order whatsoever, guys. We're just gonna go one by one, talk about a game that each of us played individually, and then there's 3 games that both of us played that we'll talk about a little bit more extensively. So I'll let you go first, Damian.
Okay, so in January, I almost forgot this was released this year. It was Monster Hunter World. It was very good. I played the PS4 version. Later, I think September they released the PC version, which would have been good to have, but whatever. I got a console version because I couldn't wait. And yeah, it's extremely good. It's Monster Hunter, but they refined a lot of things. Made it a lot more new player friendly and stuff like that. The first Monster Hunter I played was on the 3DS, Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, I think it was. And you could tell a lot of the improvements in this game. Last time you used to collect resources, sit there and just gather plants and stuff, and it took forever. In this game, you just run by a plant, press circle or whatever, and then you got it. Everything auto crafts, so if it detects an item, it could craft in your inventory. You're just crafting as a potion or whatever, which is also very nice because in the older Monster Hunter games, you would have to spend a lot of time crafting different things and all that. And this game is mostly automatic, and it's pretty smart with how it uses the resources. So it's like if you were gonna make that, it's gonna make it anyway. So obviously the game just looks good. Monster Hunter always looked like garbage because it was always on like 3DS and whatever weaker hardware. This one actually like pops out. Like when you see a giant monster, you really feel it as like a giant monster instead of just nothing. Because in the 3DS, you can't really get a good sense of scale in the 3DS, obviously, because it just looks like garbage. Again, the monsters look really good for the 3DS, but it wasn't really that mind-blowing. So it's really nice to see them all in HD, like how they move around. It's really beautiful. Combat feels great. It feels way more fluid than the 3DS games, because again, you have an actual controller, not using like the circle bat and stuff like that. So again, I love it. I think it's a great evolution of Monster Hunter, and it seems like a lot of other people love it as well. Like I'm surprised at how well this sold, and now they're going to be doing an expansion next year as well. So yeah, I'm very excited to see where this series goes now. It's great. I love it. Monster Hunter never felt that good before. It's great. Do you want me to keep going down my list, or you want to like switch?
Yeah. So I'll take the helm here for a bit.
Okay.
Batman: The Enemy Within. It started coming out last year, but it finished this year. And that game is pretty good. I was really surprised. Well, kind of, but not really. Because the first season was good, but like this one was like a kind of step above it in terms of story. So this one definitely focuses a lot more on Bruce Wayne and that aspect of his life, and how they do it. I really did like how they executed that aspect of the story on Bruce Wayne's life. And obviously Batman stuff is still there, the whole detective and being Batman. But yeah, I really did like this entire like 5-episode arc, and you get to see much more familiar villains this time around, not like Penguin or whatever. You get to see like Harley Quinn, eventually the Joker, and some other ones. But yeah, it's still a pretty good game. If you can somehow buy it, I'm pretty sure most of the Telltale games are now off of digital stores, but if you can somehow still play it, play it.
That's good. So that finished this year, right?
Yeah, sometime in March, I believe. Episode 5 came out in March.
Oh, okay.
So, there's that.
All right. So, next thing I have, again, these aren't in order. I just kind of listed like
yeah, no order whatsoever.
Yeah. So, next game I'm going to talk about is Dragon Quest XI. This came out September, so I believe it was the beginning of September, I think, or was that Spider-Man? I can't really remember. But anyway, this came out in September. It was kind of overshadowed by Spider-Man because, it was Spider-Man. But I also think this is a great RPG. It's a good turn-based RPG. There isn't a lot to it. It's very much what it is. Like, nice turn-based JRPG. I mean, it has a pretty simple story, but I think all the characters are very charming, and they really carry the game out. Like, I feel like with most JRPGs, the overarching story is usually very generic, usually just like evil dude or just like darkness or whatever. But it's mostly the characters and party interaction that really carries it, to greatness. And I think this is what that game does really well. But yeah, it's great. I think the visuals look amazing. What's his face? Toriyama. Yeah, Toriyama really like brings this game. Like it pops out really nicely. His art style really fits this world, and it's great. All the monster designs are like really cute for no reason. Like I kind of don't want to like kill them, but they're gonna die anyway. But yeah, overall it's really good. This was really my first Dragon Quest game I really played, and it was a good one. Some people are saying it's like one of the best ones to come out. So yeah, I'm very happy I got to experience it. It also sold pretty well here too. I also didn't expect that because Dragon Quest never really sold too well, and mostly when it was in the same month as Spider-Man. That's pretty impressive. So yeah, Dragon Quest XI is really good. I would suggest giving it a shot. It's on sale a lot of the time too. So if you haven't picked it up and want to play a JRPG, I would suggest that.
Okay, A Way Out, another story-driven based game, but this one is definitely really good because you're probably gonna play with someone.
That too. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So A Way Out, yep, you got to play with someone else. I think that sort of like thing, like mandatory co-op, is like non-existent within like the past maybe even 5 years in gaming. I would say like mandatory co-op. So that was definitely a very interesting thing that they did there. But on top of that, the story I think was very fascinating on how they how they executed it, going back and forth between certain things. So I really did like that, and still a pretty good game. Also, the physical version on the PS4 goes for a lot of money. I did not know that. So
Wait, it does? I didn't even know it was a physical version.
So when it retailed, I think it was like $40. Now it's like $60. I have no idea why it's
Whoa,
rare,
what?
but yeah. But there's that. You could give your 2 cents on it.
Yeah, I also agree with you. It's really good. I actually liked it a lot. Very fun game. Again, it feels a lot like an 80s action movie. So
yeah,
it was just really fun to play through. There's a lot of good twists and stuff like that. Obviously, I won't give that away. But yeah, it's really good. I also liked it a lot. I played it on PC and it was pretty good. All right, so next thing I have on my list is Octopath, another JRPG that came out for the Switch. Really good. I would say that the characters, first of all, there's no character interaction. It's kind of like the opposite of Dragon Quest, where there's basically no character interaction. But I felt like also there's no overarching story either. There's 8 characters and each of them get their own basically story arc. And some of them are way better than others, but I think overall all 8 stories really combines into something that is a pretty nice package. Even though they don't really have an overarching plot, I think each of them individually are pretty entertaining to play through. One that I liked a lot was Primrose. She was also in the demo that came out a long time ago before the game actually came out. I think it was a good 6 months before the game came out. And when I played that demo, I'm like, oh, this is really good. And yeah, her storyline was the best one. But besides that, it's a good return to form of retro SNES RPGs and stuff like that. Again, very traditional turn-based, but if you ever played Bravely Default before, it is the whole thing where it's you could boost your attacks and attack multiple on one turn. So one character could attack 4 times in a turn. It can make some really cool plays with that. So you get your mage to do 4 giant fireballs, and then before that you could boost it 4 times with your healer. You could just boost their attack damage. It's just really fun to play through. I really like that combat system. But yeah, it's really good. If you have a Switch and want to play a good JRPG, I would suggest getting that, as it's only on the Switch. And yeah, it is very good. Just don't expect really too much story. It is more about the exploration and the gameplay and the pretty visuals, because it is a very pretty game. But yeah, I would suggest it as well. It's very good. I like it a lot.
Okay. My next game on here is Detroit Become Human. This was a game that I was really surprised by, because I know David Cage's last game, Beyond Two Souls, was a train wreck.
Yeah.
So, and I've never played a David Cage game ever. I've never played Heavy Rain or Fahrenheit or whatever the heck the one on the PS2 was, but I've never played any of his games. So going into this, I was like, all right, let's see what this is about, because I really do like games where choices really do matter, and this game actually does excel at that. There's so many different pathways and so many different endings to certain things. It kind of blows my mind as to how thought out he did this entire choices here, choices there. So I really did like that aspect. All 3 characters, Marcus, Connor, and Kira, I believe.
Yeah.
They all have interesting stories. Some are admittedly more interesting than others, but I was still invested into their characters and wanted to see where they would go. And obviously, once those 3 characters intertwined with one another within the story, but yeah, and even gameplay aspects, mostly it's just quick time events and choosing things, but even the QTEs, messing them up actually does have a huge consequence. So I really did like that aspect. But yeah, if you like making choices in your games, Detroit Become Human is definitely your game to go.
Yeah, I saw someone else play it, and yeah, again, like I said, I mean, like you said, some are better than others. For instance, I think Connor is the best one.
Yeah,
and I think some people kind of drift off near the end. What's her face?
Kira.
Yeah, Kira. And I never really liked Marcus's plot, but overall, I thought it was pretty good. David Cage is a pretty interesting guy.
Dude.
Yeah, his storylines could go really off the wall, but I thought it was enjoyable. Well, I never played it, but I saw it, and it was pretty enjoyable to watch. All right, so next thing I have here is Celeste. Celeste is just great. It was a reason why I think it was nominated for Game of the Year in the Game Awards, I think.
Yeah,
and that really shows. Yeah, that really shows its quality. It's a Super Meat Boy sort of platformer, Actually, it's exactly like Meat Boy, except you have a dash, and I wouldn't say it's as fast paced as Meat Boy, but it's still like pretty fast paced. And it's just that, there's some really great level design. It's very fun to play through. There's like a load of content in there. After the main story, there's like a bunch of really hard levels that you could do. And then after that set of hard levels, I believe there's another giant set of hard levels. I never did the bonus content because I'm bad. Like I didn't even attempt to do it. But the main story alone could give you like at least like 10 hours of enjoyment, depending how good you are, obviously. I was a little rusty with these sort of platformers, so it took me a bit. But it is a very hefty package. I believe it's only $20, I think. So yeah, I would suggest giving it a go. It is like just extremely good. The graphics are, again, the pixel graphics, but they are very well done. The music is so good, and it was robbed at the Game Awards. Red Dead did not deserve best soundtrack. Okay, Celeste has an amazing soundtrack. The story is also pretty good. Again, it's not the main focus, but I think has a pretty nice overarching theme on it that deals with anxiety and stuff like that. But yeah, if you're looking for a good solid platformer, I know there hasn't been like a lot of like Meat Boy style platformers lately. So if you're looking for that, I think Celeste is like just perfect. Like I love it.
Okay. Kirby Star Allies. I'm pretty sure you also played this.
Yes, I did.
Okay, so Kirby Star Allies. This was another fun Kirby platformer. Kirby games aren't exactly all that complex, but for what it was, I enjoyed it. It wasn't necessarily too spectacular. I still believe Planet Robobot to be the best Kirby game in this sort of like engine of Kirby games.
Yeah.
But it's still a good fun time. The whole like partner mechanic or like the combination of abilities and all this other stuff I think was a little underwhelming, but for what it was still a good old time.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. Like I think it was the weakest out of all the Kirby games that recently came out, but I also thought it was fun. I kind of like that they added so much to the game after it came out.
Yeah,
with all the other Dream Friends and like that new hard mode that came out. I still haven't been that yet. I should probably go back and do that. But it's cool that it just added all this stuff that I felt like I still don't think it's worth the $60, but they made it a lot more worth it with all that content they added. But overall, I would say I'm pretty much ready to move on from this sort of style of Kirby. I hope for the next big Kirby game to really try something different. I would like a 3D Kirby game since like they're on more powerful hardware now. I would just like to see something new at this point. And this is coming from someone that played like basically every Kirby game. They've done a lot more experimental stuff before, so I would like them to go back to that more experimental phase where they were trying different things. Because right now, they are starting to feel pretty samey. So yeah, I'm pretty much ready for them to move on. But yeah, it was a pretty good Kirby game. I would have liked to see more again with the ability and combinations and stuff like that, because it was basically just like, here, your sword is on fire now, and that's about it. It wasn't nowhere near as cool as Kirby 64, where like you could combine things and make a whole different power. Like that was great.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall it was a pretty good Kirby game, but not too amazing. Indeed. All right, so next I have Dead Cells, another indie game. This game was in early access last year, I believe. I can't really remember. I remember buying it in early access, really good, and then decided to wait until it came out. And it came out during the summer, and it's probably the best roguelite. Well, not the best roguelite I've played. That goes to Isaac. But I think it has the best combat system of any roguelite, since the combat does feel a lot more skillful. Because I'm going to give examples of my two favorite roguelites being Isaac and Gungeon. Those two mostly just require you to find the best gun or best tier upgrade and just blast through the game. Now, I don't think there's, mostly in Isaac, there's like not too much skill in Isaac. Well, there is, to dodge things, but it is mostly about finding like really OP items and just going through the game like that. And it's fun because it's like, I never know what I'm going to get or what I have to work with, and that's what makes Isaac fun. With Gungeon has a little more skill involved because of the dodge rolling and stuff like that. But I think Dead Cells has the most complex combat system, since it actually is like Dark Souls but 2D, and I think it works out really well. Like you can block, you can shoot arrows. The melee combat feels really good. You could do like a ground pound type thing. Like there's just a bunch of different maneuvers you could do that makes the combat really refreshing. The only problem I have with the game is the roguelite elements themselves. Like, I feel like the game is, since it relies so hard on the combat system, I feel like the items themselves aren't that interesting, which makes repeat playthroughs not as fun as Gungeon or Isaac, since those games have really crazy item combinations or just items in general. In Dead Cells, if you get like a giant greatsword, every greatsword is basically going to feel the same. If you get like a short sword or like a bow and arrow, they're all basically going to feel the same. So there isn't too much variety. And I feel like the levels themselves are a lot more restrictive because they're in 2D as opposed to Gungeon and Isaac being like isometric. So I feel like it kind of limits the amount of variety you could have in each run. But overall, I think it is one of the better roguelites to have come out. Like, I'll probably place it like maybe third or fourth, just behind like, you know, Gungeon and Isaac and probably Slay the Spire. But yeah, if you're looking for a good like sort of 2D Metroidvania roguelite thing, I think this is really good. But yeah, I just like don't really expect it to be playing it for hundreds of hours. Like, you know, Isaac had like 500 hours in, Gungeon had like 100 hours in. So I just don't really see myself putting as much time into those games as this one. But it's still a very good roguelite, and I would recommend it.
Okay, Jackbox 5. The new Jackbox game came out, and it was surprisingly really good. I know the last one, in my opinion, wasn't all that great. I think 3 is still the best one, but 5 is still, you know, kind of up there. Just let me take a quick gander at the games. One of them, Split the Room. That one is fantastic. I really do like that game. You pretty much just have to create a prompt where you actually split the room, and that is pretty difficult because in previous Jackbox games, you're legit just trying to play to one party, like with Fibbage or Quiplash or whatever. You're trying to play to like one side, so now you kind of have to like split it in a way. So that makes it very complicated and, you know, still kind of fun in some ways. Another You Don't Know Jack on here, Madverse City. Pretty much you gotta out-rap your opponents, and that can be hilarious at times because it's doing it through like text to speech with like robots or whatever, so it can definitely get pretty funny. Patently Stupid, pretty much inventions where you just create dumb things. And yeah, it's all 3 of the games I just mentioned, Split the Room, Adverse City, and Patently Stupid, are really solid titles. It's just that you don't know Jack, I'm just not a big fan of. And then Zeppel Dome or Zeppel Doom, whatever the heck, that's like a co-op sort of really bad game if I had to put it at that. But yeah, overall, you know, Jackbox 5 is still pretty good just with those 3 games alone, Split the Room, Adverse City, and Patently Stupid.
All right. Yeah, again, I saw NL play that, and yeah, a lot of those games look a lot of fun. Like I also thought the last Jackbox was a little lacking, so yeah, so a lot of these games look pretty good. I kind of just like the ones where it's like just make up a thing, but
Yeah.
like Finally Stupid just looks like a lot of fun. Like that's a cool, like a really good idea for a game.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so here's a game that I really didn't expect to even make it here, but like it really caught me off guard and how much fun it was. Soul Calibur 6. Again, I'm not the biggest into fighting games because I suck at them. The only one that I really play a lot of is Smash because that's Smash. But I think Soul Calibur 6 really got me. The character customization, I saw like a lot of people making a lot of dumb characters. I'm like, that looks fun. You know what? Let's buy it. And I have to say, again, I think for a fighting game to be good for me is to have like pretty good single player content. Because, you know, that's probably what I'm going to do for the majority of the time anyway because I suck. So I think this game, you know, succeeded at that. It has a pretty decent story mode. You know, it's not really cutscenes or anything. It's mostly just like just JPEGs talking to each other. But, you know, it gets the point across. I think the cooler mode is the more like RPG-y type story mode they have there where you can make your own character and go through fights and stuff like that and get level up and get different weapons and stuff like that. That is a lot of fun. And it's pretty long. I still haven't beaten it yet. I should probably go back and do that. But I'm only like 5 hours in, but I heard it is pretty long. There's like 2 paths you go through, like a good side and a bad side or whatever. And I like that, you know, that's I always like when when fighting games put in the effort to put in single player content. And it's why I was kind of burnt with Dragon Ball FighterZ Because again, I suck at fighting games, and there wasn't a whole lot there. Like there was the whole story mode, but it was very repetitive and not really that much fun. I thought for Dragon Ball Fighters, that's mostly why I didn't put it here. But I think this game has a lot more fun with it because it's not just fights. Like, it does add a whole RPG layer, and I know Dragon Ball Fighters tried to do that too, but it just felt like it was a little not as involved as this one. And of course, the character customization is like a lot of fun. Like I had a lot of fun just making dumb characters and using them online to mess around and stuff like that. So yeah, I really like Soul Calibur 6. It really caught me off guard. And it's just a lot of fun. Again, did not expect to have this much fun with a fighting game. The last one was in 2012, so it's been a long time since this series was a thing. So yeah, I would suggest it if you're really looking for like a fighting game with more single player content. Because I know the only ones that really try to do that are like the NetherRealm fighting games like Mortal Kombat and Injustice. I know those have pretty beefy single player content as well. So if you're looking for something like that, I think Soul Calibur 6 is something to consider. It is a lot of fun. And if you want to make a dumb character, that's also like a lot of fun.
Yes, those dumb custom characters are always great.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you saw those on like Twitter or something.
Yep. My next game is Super Mario Party. This was a great game to get back into form for Mario Party. I really did not expect it to be as good as it is, despite only having like 4 Mario Party maps there. There's 4 more like co-op maps and stuff like that. But when it comes to like the core Mario Party game, it is pretty good. The character dedicated die are really nice. It really does add a little bit of strategy in there. Like if you want to play high risk, you could pick this certain character or that character. So, and also, like this definitely shows that Nintendo finally knows what they want within Mario Party. And, this whole like sort of reboot with Super Mario Party is definitely a step in the right direction. And I cannot wait to go and see a sequel because I think that they'll be able to improve onto a lot of the flaws within this game. Like I think the maps are a little small in my opinion and not enough of them obviously. But the mini games, as always, they're a great treat in between the turns or whatever. So, but overall, Super Mario Party, it is a great party game. It's not worth the full price though. Definitely like rent it out for like a weekend and then take it back. So,
right. Again, I wish the online had a board.
Yes.
That's really dumb that it doesn't. That would have been an instant purchase for me, but unfortunately it does not, and that is really dumb.
Yep.
Because Nintendo sucks online. Alright, so the next game and last game for me is Mega Man 11. So first off, I'm going to say this is too expensive. It's like $40 for like a 5-hour game. I really think that's too much money. Like it should have been like a $20 game. But besides that, I think the game is really great. I think it's a good, like, I wouldn't say return to form since 9 and 10 were also very good. But I feel like this game is moving Mega Man in a new direction. Instead of just doing the whole retro 8-bit graphics, they're really moving on with the 3D graphics, which I know some people don't really like too much. I like it. I think the game really pops. Like, it looks pretty to me. Again, the only person I don't really like the model of too much is Mega Man. Like, I think he looks a little too lanky. But besides that, I think the game controls, like, everything feels exactly the same on how it did on, like, an 8-bit level. Because I know some people feel like 2.5D games don't control as well if it was just, like, pixels. But I feel like this does a really good job at emulating how old Mega Man felt anyway. And it is definitely hard, did not made it easier just because, it's like a newer game for newer people. No, it is very much a hard game. If you ever did Acid Man, yeah, that level sucks. There's like a whole level underwater where it's just spikes everywhere and it is awful. So yeah, so it does keep the Mega Man hard. Like it is not easy. But yeah, besides that, it's Mega Man. I'm very happy that they are making more. I hope they do make more throughout the coming years. Our hope is to either add more content to really justify that $40 price tag, or to just lower it to like $20, because I feel like it is a bit much for like a really short game that doesn't really have a lot of content. They try to like make it like, hey, here's some bonus challenges, but like they're not really that fun to do. So yeah, I'm hoping that for like Mega Man 12, they're making one just to like add some more stuff to it to make it worth the price tag. But besides that, I think it's a fantastic Mega Man game.
Okay, now my own final game, Overcooked 2. I haven't played it since SmashCon, but the time I did have with it, it was a blast. Pretty much if you love Overcooked, like I did, which is a co-op or competitive based game where you have to get orders out as quickly as possible, it is pretty fun. But Overcooked 2, I think the only like major difference is that they added this new mechanic where you could throw ingredients to your teammates, so that is pretty funny and hilarious to watch. But if you liked Overcooked or liked watching the chaos of Overcooked on YouTube or Twitch, it's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, so I guess we get into the games that we both played. I don't know which one you want to start with.
We'll start with God of War.
Okay, so I thought God of War, again, I wasn't really too hyped for this game either.
Yep.
It was only after the game came out and everyone was talking about how great it was, I decided to pick it up. Since even though I played God of War as a kid, I wasn't really as into it as everyone else. Like, I liked it, but I never really played all of them. So this is coming from someone who never really played too many God of War games. I loved it. Like, I was really struggling to either pick this or Spider-Man as my game of the year. And I still think it was Spider-Man. But this game is very good. I feel like the story was very good. I really connected to the Kratos and Atreus. The combat was surprisingly really fun, and it could be pretty difficult at times as well. The puzzles were pretty fun to do as well. I was worried for that cinematic camera they've been going for, like the over the shoulder. It looks like The Last of Us or Uncharted type of thing.
Yeah, but no, person over the shoulder.
Yeah, like I wasn't really into that when they first started showing this game. And I thought it was going to be like too cinematic and stuff like that. But no, I think the game was still extremely fun to play, have good mechanics. And yeah, I just did not think that really deterred the game. And I think it just actually helped it more, as it was only one camera shot the whole game, I believe. Like, it just like always like was on Kratos and like focused on him and stuff like that. Yeah, I loved it. The combat, the puzzles, the world. I think they did a great job doing the whole Norse mythology and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah, personally, when it comes to God of War, I know I won Game of the Year at the Game Awards or whatever, but I'm not too crazy about it.
Yeah, I mean, again, because I did not play the other God of Wars too thoroughly, so I never really knew what to expect. Like, I wasn't like a big fan before. I know you were, because you played a lot of other games before. So this is like a pretty big departure on what that was.
Yeah, it's different, but it's good in some ways. So like, for one thing, the combat is actually like methodical. Like, you actually have to think and not just mash the attack button. So that's good. That actually adds some challenge and some depth to it. So that was fun. But the other part, when it comes to like the story, which wasn't always the strongest point within God of War, I will admit, but this game was trying to go for like a really like, I guess, cinematic story in a way. But I wasn't really into it until like the halfway point, in all honesty. Like, I was kind of just like, when's the story going to get interesting? And then it did. And, that's when I really got hooked in, and that's when I was really into it. But yeah, the main thing about this game is the combat. Like, that's the one thing that I really, really like about this game.
Yeah.
And the story definitely does pick itself back up later on. Presentation wise, like, definitely the game looks stunning, looks beautiful and everything like that. So
I'm surprised like this game looks as good as it does. Like, it is a very gorgeous game.
Yeah, but other than that, that's all I gotta say about God of War, really.
Yeah, I mean, there isn't much to say besides, the combat's great. The story, I really like the story a lot. The world is just really beautiful, and I think they did, again, a good job showing Norse mythology, just like how they did with Greece during the older games. So yeah, I just think it's amazing. There's a reason why it's winning a lot of game of the years, and that's just because it's so good.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess we could talk about Spider-Man.
We could do Spider-Man.
All right,
so is this your game of the year?
Yeah, so this is my game of the year.
Same.
Yeah, okay, so there you go. So it's our game of the year. So I think Spider-Man, they really did a good job making you feel like Spider-Man. No, they did a really good job of just capturing, I think, what people really likes about Spider-Man 2 and like all those other Spider-Man games. I think this is like the best web swinging I have ever played. Between like Spider-Man 2 and Ultimate Spider-Man, those are like the best ones, the best Spider-Mans I considered for a while. I think this game just blow them out of the water and like for web swinging. It feels fluid like Spider-Man 2, but you can do a bunch of other things. Like the whole, I forgot what to call it. Like you go to the web points and then like press X and then you get like a giant boost of speed and you could keep going throughout the rooftops and stuff like that. You could web zip, you could swing. It's just, you never lose momentum. Like you're always moving fast. Like there's nothing that could really stop your momentum really. Like even when you hit a wall, you can just like climb it up real fast, web zip, and then like swing back around and stuff like that. It's great. Like it just feels so fluid. It is amazing. Like, and I think that was the most important part about this game, and something I worried throughout the development was they didn't really show too much of the web swinging. I was like, I hope it's good, because if the web swinging isn't good, you're not really gonna have a good open world Spider-Man game. But no, they nailed it in the head. It is fantastic. The combat is also, I think, very good. I was also afraid it was gonna be mostly like, even though it is pretty Arkham-y, I think it does hold its own thing. You use a lot of web-based attacks and all that. Spider-Man is very aerial. Like you want to get opponents on the sky and just hit them up there and stuff like that. So yeah, I think they did a really good job with the combat as well. Because that was my major complaint with a lot of the other open world Spider-Man games, where the combat was very basic. You just do punches and like jump around and stuff like that. Even though this one's pretty simplistic as well, I think it does do a lot more to make it more complex and stuff like that. And yeah, besides like New York being amazing, like it just looks beautiful in this game. They did a really good job imitating New York in this. I really liked the story. I know some people weren't too much of fans of it. I kind of like where they went with it. I thought it was a cool idea that they made this Spider-Man more like a veteran sort of Spider-Man, and like he kind of did a lot of things already. So this is like he knows what he's doing. So that was pretty refreshing to see. And I like that more Spider-Man media doing that now, like with Homecoming, where Peter already did the whole Uncle Ben thing. So I kind of like to kind of like cut the fat, because you already know that. So and again, I don't know about Spider-Verse, but again, apparently the Peter in that one is also like a veteran Spider-Man. So I kind of like that they do that. But yeah, I just love it. The combat, the story was pretty entertaining to play through. The web swinging is amazing. I just love it. Spider-Man has always been my favorite Marvel hero, and I think they really nailed everything in this, I feel.
All right. Well, what else can I add to that? Nah, it's all right. But yeah, Spider-Man is truly my game of the year, mainly because it's an open world game where the getting from mission to mission isn't all that boring. Like that's my problem with Red Dead Redemption 2. When I'm like trying to go from mission to mission, it's like I'm just mashing the X button just to like get to the next point. But when I'm playing Spider-Man, it's like, oh man, I can like web swing here, web swing there. Like the web swinging and getting from mission to mission is really fun. And that's like everything. Like that is exactly why this is my game of the year, because there's no point within the game where I'm like, I'm bored and I really don't want to be doing this. I love web swinging, and the combat itself, you can't say it is a little Arkham-y. I think it is honestly a lot different, because when it comes to like Spider-Man, he needs to counter in a way that like Batman has a little bit of latency, I guess, when it comes to countering. Like he has some breathing room, but Spider-Man, like you have to be like on the dot. So that was another thing that I really liked about combat, along with the whole gadgets and everything like that, and using the webs to your advantage as well. But yeah, and then story-wise, I have my problems with it being a little bit predictable. But then again, we're both just really big Spider-Man fans, so
that's what I mean. Yeah, like I know people say the story is predictable, but again, you can only really do so much with the story of Spider-Man, where it's like, okay, I know this is gonna happen, I know this is gonna happen. So it's like I think they did a good job, like doing different things with it. But yeah, I could see how it's pretty predictable. Yeah.
Yeah, but then again, this game is for Spider-Man fans, and since they are building a whole new like game universe in a way, I'll let it slide. But on top of that, this is just like the best Spider-Man story in a video game yet, because it actually goes into Peter Parker and Spider-Man and see that sort of dynamic and aspect of it, and it definitely shows at the end of it the whole consequences of being Spider-Man, but at the same time Peter Parker. So
Right.
I really did like that. And, of course, presentation, once again, the PlayStation 4 has had some beautiful games this year. Detroit, God of War, and now this one, Spider-Man. I mean, there's nothing else for me to say, really. I did a full video on it, so.
Yeah, I mean, everything we just said, it's great. I mean, and that's why it won my game of the year, personally. I just love it. It's great, so. All right.
Then
so,
Smash Ultimate.
I mean, I already gave all my stuff about that when I was talking about it.
Yeah.
So what do you think about it?
I mean, yeah, it's Smash Ultimate. I feel like Melee's only here still because of like the story the esports scene has to tell and how long it's been around and all this other stuff. But Brawl came out and then that got replaced by Smash 4, and now Smash 4 is getting replaced by Ultimate. And there's a reason for that. Because the game is always getting faster, a lot more snappier, I would say. And, of course, the roster gets a lot bigger, so there's more characters to play around with. So, but really, this is the ultimate version of Smash Brothers when you look at it truly. Obviously, the story or like the single player stuff isn't as strong as like Subspace Emissary or anything like that. But I don't think we'll ever get something like that ever again, just because Sakurai doesn't like having his, cutscenes uploaded to YouTube directly. So that's just his choice. That's just his, business. I respect that. But you know what? Subspace Emissary was great for what it was. The World of Light, from what you have told me, I mean, it sounds like a much beefier gameplay, but story-wise is not much, but that's fine. And then when it comes to like actual content, like the amount of characters, the amount of stages, the amount of soundtracks, the rules, like on how extensive you could actually like adjust the rules for each setting, like being able to turn hazards off in stages, like that is great. And having stages be FD or Battlefield, like that is pretty good. And even like having it be like first to 3 wins, wins that match or whatever. But I believe in like Smash Esports, it's still, like we're just going to do one game and then we'll like do our own sort of thing or whatever. But it's nice that they put it in the game itself,
Yes.
Also bringing back the tournament mode, that was, a big plus. And then the whole stock or strike mode, whatever,
squad strike,
yeah, so that is definitely very, very cool. And of course online, there's only so much you can do because Nintendo can't help themselves if they don't want to be helped, but you know what, it's still there. But yeah, I cannot wait to go and see where this game goes within the next couple of years, because esports in Smash Brothers is always crazy. So
I think it's going to do a lot better than Smash 4 competitively wise.
Probably.
I think people are just like it more, so I'm hoping it has a more bustling esports scene.
Yeah, because I definitely felt like most of the Smash 4 players were just like, I'm just playing this game until Ultimate.
Yeah, a lot of people were just playing it to Ultimate, and like I think a lot more people just like this game way more. It just feels a lot better. So
yeah, especially with the whole 3 stocks thing.
Yeah.
Oh shoot! I SD'd 1 stock. Oh shoot! Game's over.
Game's over. Yeah, I think with the 3 stocks and the games just being faster, the game's just a lot more entertaining to watch. So I'm very excited to see where it goes.
Same here. So, is there anything else you would like to add, good sir?
No, I think that's it.
Okay, so that is it for the Two Players Podcast, episode 74. We will see you guys on a new podcast called the Travis and Damian Podcast. I'll put an update video on my YouTube channel all about that. So thank you guys for listening to us on here, and we'll see you guys 2 weeks from now on a new podcast.
Yeah, see ya.